Hi everyone, it's Jennifer Norman. Welcome to day 19 of From My Closet. This is the project that I started to spread a little bit of inspiration, talk about some insights, and also spread a little joy and happiness by giving away something from my closet with every episode. I'm the founder of the Human Beauty Movement, which is a company that's intent is to uplevel the beauty industry. I really think that it's important that we focus on the beauty that's inside all of us rather than just external beauty. So today I thought I would share an experience that I had recently, which was that I went to get acupuncture done for the very first time. And while I was there, I had a little bit of instruction on Ayurveda. Now I had, heard of Ayurveda. I had formulated products with Ayurvedic herbs, and so I felt that I knew Ayurveda, but it wasn't really until I started speaking with this particular healer that I wanted to know more. I wanted to dig a little bit deeper. And so by no uncertain terms am I an expert. This is really kind of my first experience, and I would love to hear from those of you out there who are far more skilled in Ayurveda and maybe actually have it as your professions. That would be amazing if you could chime in and help educate and enlighten the viewers here. That would be amazing. So when I went, she was asking me a bunch of questions about my diet, how I feel, what kind of stress I'm under, any particular intentions that I had for this session. And through that, and just by looking at me, I think that she was quite intuitive, could tell what essential constitution that I had within Ayurveda. Now, within Ayurveda, there is something called the doshas. Doshas are considered bioenergies. It's essentially there are three different types of bioenergies that everybody has, and whether or not they have a certain proclivity or strength, if you will, in one versus another, is where things can either get out of balance or where you have more of a preponderance. It kind of helps to pinpoint what your emotional, your mental, and your physical state of being is. So if you have any one particular dosha which is out of balance, then it could lead to disease or problems. And so bringing that back into balance so that it's all harmonized is really what the intent is of Ayurvedic practices and Ayurvedic medicines and Ayurvedic healing. The nice thing about Ayurveda is that it is all about really being your very best self from the start and throughout life. It's not about, within Western medicine, it's much more about problem solution or diagnosis treatment or symptom prescription. Ayurveda is really intended to help prevent any disease from happening in the first place by keeping the body in harmony with itself, the nutrients that we're taking in, and the environment that we're living in. So interestingly enough, I just wanted to kind of give a little explanation of what the three doshas are, and then I'll reveal what I am, apparently. So there is the first dosha is called Vata, and that represents air and ether. So a person who is stronger, has a proclivity towards the Vata constituency, may be a bit more ethereal, a little bit airy, a bit more spiritual in nature. It tends to be somebody who's a bit more creative. The second dosha is called Pitta, which is represented by fire and by water. Interestingly enough, if you think about how fire has the ability to just ignite and spread, or how water has the ability to flow, this is a person who is extremely passionate. It's a person who's extremely intelligent and really finds their way in life. The third dosha is called Kapha, and Kapha is represented by earth and water. And so this is a person who is grounded, who is really structured, maybe very organized, may have a tendency towards, getting attached to things. So it's quite interesting to see how each of them can balance each other out, as well as if you have a proclivity or an imbalance or a domination in any specific one, how that can cause issues. For example, somebody who is a strong pitta personality, and that's the fire, may have a tendency towards acid reflux or digestion problems, or feels like that person has a very fiery personality, gets very angry very easily, sets off very easily. When I spoke with this therapist, I discovered that I leaned more towards the Vata and the Pitta, which was the air, ether, and the fire, water doshas. It's interesting because I think if I had gone to her about a year ago, I probably would have been very much heavily into kapha, which was, more of the earthen dosha. But I think since I've been on this spiritual journey, just starting this year, I've definitely developed more of a vata tendency, if you will. So some of the recommendations that this therapist had for me was to make sure that I was getting nutrition in the form of dense soups and stews, things that were going to be heartwarming. She could tell that I was eating a lot more vegetables. I was eating a lot of salads, and not as much protein as I had been in the past. And so she definitely thought that a way that I could bring myself back into better balance was by, grounding myself and really, establishing a better, more nutrient-rich diet. So interestingly enough, she recommended that I get myself an Instapot, and I actually did order one, and I received it, and I'm excited to start using it. If anybody has any Instapot recipes that they want to share, feel free to leave those in the comments as well. In doing a little bit more research on the doshas, I actually found that there were a lot of online quizzes that anybody can take. You could probably just Google dosha quiz or Ayurveda test, and you'll be able to answer a bunch of questions and see what your dosha representation is as well. I'd be curious to see what everybody's is, kind of like the Myers-Briggs of Ayurveda, so that we can see if we identify with each other in that way. So I found out that I am, dominant in Pitta and Vata, and this, according to the tests that I took, it says that, I have a general intelligence, ambition, I'm creative, full of ideas, I love to learn, but I also have a fiery passion for things that are interesting, keenly insightful, and highly capable of holding a big vision. I like to think that that's kind of true. It says that I prefer a warmer climate because I tend to have poor circulation, and no matter where I live, my hands and my feet remain consistently cold. That is true. That's probably why I moved to LA from New York. I wanted to have a warmer weather climate, and I'm much happier here. It says, ultimately, it is my intensity that drives me, but I have a healthy enthusiasm for life that allows me to enjoy myself along the way. In fact, I probably wake up alert and fresh each morning, excited to greet a new day. Yay. So that's good. And then, a lot of these different websites that you can go to actually provide some tips on what kind of lifestyle suggestions may benefit you, what kinds of diets, anything from fruits and vegetables and grains and legumes, things like that. It makes recommendations based upon what your dosha type is to bring you back into balance. So at any rate, I thought it was interesting to just, see how many of you have explored Ayurveda, how many of you might be interested in checking out what your dosha is, and if you feel comfortable enough sharing it with all of us. I think that would be a lot of fun. So for today's giveaway, I am going to go into my closet, and give away a bag that I have been keeping for a bit of time, but I no longer need. I haven't used this very much. I think that it's almost brand new. This is a Coach bag. Looks like this. It's leather. It has two carrying straps as well as a long shoulder strap like this. If you look inside, this one is really roomy, and it's like a beautiful taupe color, so being that it's neutral, it could go with just about everything. It's got a ton of space inside. You can see it's got pockets. It still has the little the little card that came with it. So if you're interested in having this, raise your hand, give me your shipping address, and then I will send it to you, no strings attached. If anybody wants to make a donation for the cause, it's super appreciated. All of the proceeds go to charity. I don't keep any of it. And I really have been enjoying this. Please continue to give me feedback. Let me know how I'm doing. And I just appreciate you all so very much. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.